Okay.
Okay, so now what we're going to start doing, we're going to start adding to this palette. We're going to start adding other colors now. So can I borrow your box of colors?
Yes.
All right. So we've got still yellow ochre, burnt umber here. Just put it here. I'm just going to put a little bit extra out. I've got my Paynes grey, because the Paynes grey is like cool. So I'm going to just add a little bit of burnt sienna. But isn't it awesome that with 3 colors you've already got like a skin going?
Yes.
Can you see how simple it is?
Wish I'd known that before.
Yeah.
From what?
I wish I'd known that before, because I read books and each one's got a different story. And
Look,
it's so dim.
yeah, everybody's got their own version. There's nothing wrong with it. But this is just what I've found for my students, because I've tried a lot of the different ones. There is other ones, but this is the most uncomplicated one.
Yeah.
Because the other ones becomes too complicated. You have to mix masked black with yellow ochre, and then you get like a type of a greeny color, and you know that becomes, people get very confused. Okay, so I'm going to put my red. I'm putting a very bright red, down naphtha red, because we all have really bright red areas. You can put orange down if you want to. I'm going to put it, the bright red is obviously a hot red. This is a cool red, alizarin crimson.
Yes.
Okay, I'm putting that down. So I'm putting the reds next to my burnt sienna, because burnt sienna's got a lot of red in it. Then I'm going to put yellows down. I'm going to put the yellows with the yellow ochre. I've got my lemon yellow, which is my cool yellow, and I've got my hot yellow, which is my cadmium yellow. Now the interesting thing is that people tend to think that your brightest color is your hot color. Actually, if you want something, if you think about light, the brightest light, if you think about car lights, the new car lights that you get now, it's got blue light. Have you noticed? The old cars has got yellow light. So the brightest light is blue light. So where you want the brightest white, you're going to add a little bit of blue to your white. Okay, so now I'm going to add a tiny bit of blue to my Paynes grey next to it here, and also a bit of green. Now the reason we add green, now she's got a, what's it, oxide chromium green, but you can sort of, like, you could use any green, it doesn't matter.
And the blue you used there was like...
that's a hot blue, that's an ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue is the only hot blue that you can get. All other blues are cold, even though sometimes cerulean blue, this is a cerulean blue, it looks hot, but it's classified as a cold blue. All other blues are cold. This is, what's this? The oxide purple. Oh, it's a phthalo. It's a phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is gold. Yes. Okay. Okay. So obviously I'm gonna be a little bit. I'm gonna start working a little bit more detail into it. Now at this point, I'm still not gonna put excessive detail in, but I am gonna start adding more detail. So I'm going to use obviously a slightly smaller brush. So I'm going to go, because I want to keep the texture side of it. What you can also do, I'll show you guys quickly how to do a glaze. A glaze, I can glaze over the whole thing and give it like a warm tone. So let's say like I've already got a lot of red in there, so he's quite yellowy. So I'm going to glaze a little bit of ochre over the whole thing. Hopefully it doesn't pick up any white. So a glaze is a very thin layer of paint that's see-through. You can still see the newspaper there. Can you see? So I'm just going to glaze. Look, if I glaze over him, can you see the whites become yellowy? Can you see that? Okay. So I'm going to glaze a cool blue here. So I'm going to use my phthalo. And I love the newspaper because it shows me. Newspaper is quite accurate. Even for oil, you can use the newspaper because it shows me how translucent the paint is. Like here, where his darks is his hair and stuff. So this is a phthalo. It's accidentally mixed a bit with the yellow ochre and made a green, but that's perfectly okay for me. A nice big flat brush. This is a nylon brush. At this point, I'm not too fussed about the brush. I just want to get, now look what happens with the cool against the hot. Can you see that? Doesn't it look lovely?
Beautiful.
And can you see where I'm holding the brush? Position number? 2. So I'm using my whole, look at my whole arm is moving. Not my point, I'm not doing that. Okay, important. Yeah. So I'm going to put a little bit of cool into the hair. I'm still glazing. Okay, glazing is a thin, transparent layer that dries very quickly if it's acrylic. And the wonderful thing is we can dry it with a hairdryer. Now look at the interesting colors I'm starting to get. So even in the shadow, I'm just washing a little bit of the blue in. Now people who have reddy skin generally have blue shadow, a bluey kind of shadow. And people who have olivey skin like me, if you look at my veins, I don't know if you can see, look, it's greeny. I've got green veins because I'm very olivey. Somebody who's got, like, look at her. Look, she's got, look there, she's got green veins, but with a blue undertone because she's more red than me. Can you see?
Okay, yeah.
So the moment you have reddy skin, you have a blue undertone. If you have yellowy skin, you have a green undertone. That's why some people look better in some colors than in others. That's why you get people who tell you which color. Now look at the washes, what the washes has done for the painting. It just makes it interesting. Can you see? Okay. So now I'm going to add a little bit more. Now, if I want to start adding more detail, I'm going to go for a smaller brush. I don't want to go too small because it's a biggish area I'm working in. So I'm going for this Hogshair because I want texture. If I didn't want texture, I'd go nylon. I want texture. And it's a medium size. Because can you see that in relation to the painting, the brush looks small. Can you see? Okay, so eventually when I go for the eyes and stuff, I'll probably go for something like this, which is much smaller. Can you see? Okay. So now, I'm going to start adding more detail. So if I look here, like if I look on the color picture, can you see there it's got warm, a very warm yellow, and then it's got like a cool red. Okay? If you don't know if it's cool, just believe me, it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to add,
Looks cool.
now what you want to do in a painting, you always want to have dark against light and hot against cold. So if that's warm, then that's going to be cool. Ooh, some white on there. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to make this eyebrows. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to it. It says dark, Paynes grey with burnt umber. I'm still on my original 3 original earth tones, 4 actually if you add the Paynes grey in, still stays my basis. So now I'm going to make this cool. So now the trick is by putting the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th and the 20th layer on is not to cover everything that you've got there. You only put it here and there.
Okay.
So you want to build it like a puzzle. So in the end it must look like this. So whatever that color is must stick through the color on top of it like that. So you're going to build it in layers, like think Photoshop. So now I'm pulling it down by adding, because it's cool, a little bit of blue to my burnt umber. So I'm not I might do the fine hairs later on, I don't know yet, but we'll see. And then his eye, and this is quite dark, but can you see it's quite thin? Look, it's still translucent. Can you see that? It's thin enough. Look how thin that paint is. Can you see that? It's very thin. It's still translucent. So now, I'm focusing on, again, the darks, but now I'm adding to the fact that I'm adding darks, I'm thinking hot and cold. So now I'm in a smaller brush, so this is still cool. My Paynes grey mixed with my blue, my phthalo. Oh, sorry, I'm lying. My Paynes grey mixed with my burnt umber, and I've added a little bit of phthalo. So there's dark, dark, dark. There's the eye, dark, very dark there. Dark, a little bit of dark around the edge there. I'm just going to work in this area for now. Now I've got dark, now I want to go light. The light is the opposite of the dark, and I'm going to make it cool because this is, I made this cool, so I need to make the light hot. Okay, so I'm going to go for my very light yellow ochre, and I'm going to add a tiny bit of yellow to it to make it slightly yellower, but a lot of white. But it's still got color. Pure white is a very dangerous color. You don't use it indiscriminately. So there's a piece of light sitting there. There's a piece. Now I'm starting to break it up almost in areas as big as the head of the brush. So I don't go like this. When I put down the brush, I put it down in an area not bigger than the size of the head of the brush. Because I want to be more in control now. I'm still holding the brush in position number 2. So there we go. There's some light there. Dash of light on there, which I'll sort out later. He's got lovely little bags under his eyes. So there's a lot of light here. And then he's got quite a lot of light there. And now I'm going to go for a bigger brush because this brush will be too small for this area. So now my light also, because not all light is equally light. So if I look at this light is lighter than that light. Okay? So I'm changing my light. So that light's got a slightly bit of pink in it, so I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna to the yellow ochre. And I can even add a little bit of my cool red, which is my alizarin crimson. Now look how it cools it down. Can you see there? I'll lift it up. Can you see? Look how it's cooled down that color. Can you see? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to put it here where I see he's got it. So there. A little bit more alizarin crimson. Oh, that's a little bit too much, but it's all right. We can handle that. We'll just use it somewhere else. So if you're not sure of the color, hold your brush against the painting like that. Can you see? Then I can see if it will suit it. So there he's got a lot of coolness. You can see I'm still quite rough because later on I'll sort out what must happen. Can you see it's still very thin? I can see through the paint that I'm putting on. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. So here I've got a bit of a cool shadow. So I've got that alizarin crimson mixed with the burnt sienna. I'm going to put a dash. That to me looks like it's got a bit of blue in it. I'm going to put a tiny dash of the Paynes grey with it. So I'm making the color dirty that I've just used now. I'm making like a dirty, ready skin tone.
And in this case, if it's dirty, it's correct.
It's dirty, it's correct, yeah. It's 3 colors. Look, it's still a color. Can you see? It's still a color. It's not just dirty. It's not just dirty. It's not mud, yeah. Good. So essentially, this is what you do. You just keep on adding color. And you keep, look how this whole side has changed. Can you see? So now I need to bring I'm going to bring some more yellows in here because it's going very red. Can you see? So I'm going to add, so now I want to go a little bit more detailed. I'm going for my smaller brush again. So now I need some hot. So I've got yellow ochre. And I'm going to put a bit of cool yellow with it. Because I want to bring it forward. I'm actually going to cool it. I'm actually going to go for the blue rather, I think. So I'm putting a little bit of the yellow that I mixed with the Paynes grey, but the very lightest version of the Paynes grey mixed with white. So basically, if I lift this up, that mixture is the yellow ochre mixed with the cool yellow there. Then I added it to the Paynes grey mixed with white there. So it's like a very cool, lighty skin tone. Can you see? Now you'll see it will look there. Can you see that it stands out, the white? Because it looks like white, but it's not. It's actually a very light blue. I'm even putting it in the beard. There's more light on this side than on this side. A little bit of the same light on the inside of the eye there. This whole side of the face is cool, where this whole side of the face is actually hot. Can you see it?
The reds are...
Okay, so now I'm going back to a bigger brush again. So now I want to add light but cool light. So that's going to be my yellow ochre with my, which yellow?
Lemon yellow.
With lemon yellow. I can cool it down by adding a little bit of this Paynes grey mix into it. And let's see. So there we got some light. There we got some light. But can you see I'm actually now doing one stroke at a time. I'm not just painting, I'm looking exactly as to where I want to. I look and I decide the stroke goes this way. I look, I decide the stroke goes that way.
Okay.
The skin is going this way, so I'm painting the skin that way. The skin is going this way, I'm painting the skin that way. I'm following the shape of the skin. Can you see that? So there, it's a little bit duller. So I'm going to dull the skin tone down with a little bit of the Paynes grey because, oh sorry, not Paynes grey. It's got a little bit of more yellow ochre in it. So very light. So the moment I want more control, I move forward on the brush. If I want less control, I move back on the brush. Can you see it's starting to come alive?
Absolutely.
The face is starting to have expression. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. You want the face to have. If the face must, every painting must tell a story. So now, this side is hot. That's a hot red next to a cool red. So I'm going to take my burnt sienna. I'm adding hot red to it.
And because it's a hot red, you use the cool what? Cool light. You use hot red and cool light together and
opposites, yeah.
Cool red and warm light.
So here he's got quite a lot of red on his face there. Can you see? Because he's our guy that's been living outside probably most of his life, and he's had it tough.
It's a bit of a whiner.
Yeah, shame. So can you see I'm working sort of over the whole painting. I don't just work in one area. I decide that's what I want to paint there, but then I look at where else can I combine it. And a lot of people make the mistake of painting the face and leaving the neck. You shouldn't. The neck and everything must go together. And you can see I'm keeping the paint. The paint looks textured, and it's creating texture because it's almost like dry brush. But it's very, very thin. Can you see that? Like here, I've got almost a purple going that way. So now I need to cool it down again. So I'm going to make my skin tone and I'm going to add a bit of phthalo blue to it to cool it down. So this is burnt sienna with cool red and a little bit of phthalo blue. Because he's quite ready on this side, so that means the shadow will be more bluey. And also if you look at the brush, sometimes I use the brush on its point, sometimes I use it on its side, and sometimes I use it on the flat. Can you see? If I use it on the front here, it gives me a thin line. If I use it on its side, it gives me a flat line. Can you see? So you don't need, I mean, this is basically how you would do any painting. You just build it up slowly, step by. Now the skin is shapes around the face here, so I'm showing that it's going this direction. Can you see?
Yeah.
So that's what helps to build it as well. Must I stop painting? You guys want to go paint?
I'm fascinated. I don't know what the rest of it.